Alright, first thing we're going to do here is get our grain ground. We're going to use 8 pounds of pale malt, or 2-row, and half a pound of amber malt. It's my first beer video, so bear with me here. Thanks. Okay. Got our grain all ground. It was American 2-row and half a pound of amber is what I meant to say. This grinder's been great for me. It gives me a very good mash. I've been doing this now for about 3 years now. All grain for about a year, I guess. Waiting on the water. Get up to the temperature here. Trying to get to about 162. It seems to work good for this mash tun. Trying to get the mash about 154 for an hour. We're using 10 3/4 quarts of water. That's what Smith recommended. Just a second here and we'll be mashing in. At about 160 here. For about 162 or so. Alright, there we go, we're about 162 right now. Just water in here. Doing an IPA today. I've done it about 3 times so far. It'll be the 3rd time I've done it. It's always turned out really good, so hopefully the same thing today. Make this a little faster here. So I wait for that to drain here and dump it in. Okay. Go ahead and get our grain ready to go in here. Everything has been sanitized ahead of time. Save you the boring part of watching that. Try to prevent any dough balls here. You're pouring in the grain. Usually I got a helper, but he's working today, so he'll be here a little bit later. ahead and stir this in. And we'll check the mash temperature. We're going to mash for about an hour, 60 minutes. Checking temperature. Get the camera and I'll show you where we're at here. It's a 5-gallon cooler here. I wish I had a 10-gallon. Eventually we're going to do that. Still going here a little bit. I think going up about 154. A little foggy here, sorry about that. But we're right there. We're at 154, so we're going to let this rest for about 60 minutes. Then I'll have you back for the Warloft. And we'll start our 60-minute boil. Alright, I'm back. We've been mashing in for about 60 minutes now. So we're going to go ahead and Warloft, make sure we can get all the grain out of our beer. Out of our wort, and just make sure we're running smooth. Come on up here. Look right in here, I'll show them. With this mash tun, I usually don't have a whole lot of problems. We want to make sure that we're running clear through here and not a lot of grain. As you can see, we're already running pretty clear. We'll do this 2 or 3 times, and then we'll go ahead and start putting the wort in our boil kettle, and then we'll sparge. Our sparge water is heating up right now to about 168. We're going to sparge with 5 gallons. 5.16 gallons, I think it is. Try not to disturb the grain bed too much. That way we don't get a... I actually had my first problem last week. And I got a stuck sparge for the first time. In 2 years I've never had that happen. It's coming out very clear already, so we'll probably just do this one more time and then we'll be ready to go. This is an IPA. This is the 3rd time I've used this recipe. And it's turned out really good every time. Okay, we'll go ahead and get our boil kettle set up. Out here. You want to run it a little bit slow, you don't want to go too fast so you don't stir the grain bread too much. As you can see, we're running really clear. There's no grain in the wort at all. At least not that we can see. I'm sure there's some fine particles in there. As that's running in, we'll get our sparge water ready over here. We'll put this in here to try to keep this everything out of here. What I try to do is just keep the top of the grain bed wet. Now let it get completely dry. This is going to take a while because we're sparging with 5 gallons of water, so I'm not going to bore you through the whole thing. We'll do it a couple times and then I'll stop, and we'll come back and we're ready to boil. Once again, we're sparging at 168, so the beer says recommended, so they've always done. We're going to try to collect about 6 to 6.5 gallons of wort before we boil for our pre-boil. Ty, why don't you go ahead and show them the fridge. You guys have never seen our fridge. Got 3 taps on there, and we got one over here in the kegerator. Got 4 in there right now, but only 3 handles. One's just got a regular handle on it. Alright, we're going to keep sparging here, and we got 5 gallons sparge water to run through, and as soon as we do that we'll come back for the boil and with our first hop addition. Go ahead and pause. Alright, we got our about 6.25 gallons of wort. We're getting ready to boil. Then we'll do our first hop addition. So we'll give it a couple minutes here and get it up to boil temperature. And just so you know, the Vorloff is when you're rinsing your grains. You want to get all the sugars you can out to try to get your wort, your ABV up as high as you can, or where you want it, so your efficiency the best. I'm sure a lot of people will correct me today. It's my first video, so feel free. Just give us a few minutes here. I did make a hop screen today, or a hop bag today, instead of having all the hops in the bottom of my boil kettle every time. Figured this will be easier. We'll see how it works today. It's very easy, probably took about 15 minutes at the most. I found a video on YouTube about it, so it worked out really easy. Let's go ahead and stop for a minute, and we'll come back when we get it to the boil. Just got the water to a boil. We're ready for our first hop addition. This one's going to get 1 ounce of hops, warrior hops, for the 60-minute boil. And then 30 minutes we're going to do half of an ounce of Simcoe. And then 15 minutes, half ounce of Simcoe. And then Irish moss at the end, and then we'll also be putting in our wort chiller, obviously, to sanitize that at the end. Just a minute here, we're almost there. So it's just getting ready to start boiling here. Here we go. We have oil now, so we'll put in our first addition of layer hops. We got 1 ounce layer hops. Solid hop. Be ready for a hot break. I don't know if you guys ever had this happen before, but I've had it a few times where you get a hot break and it's all over the side of your pan. It's a big pain about to clean up, all over your kettle. So we're gonna let these boil for 60 minutes. During that time, we'll give you guys a break and we'll be back for the 30-minute hops of Simcoe. So we'll see you then. Alright, we're back now. We got about 30 minutes left in our boil now. I'm getting ready to add another half ounce of Simcoe. We already added an ounce of Warrior at the beginning, and we're going for a half ounce of Simcoe now. And this is 30 minutes and left in our boil now. As you can see, I got the garage door open a little bit. It was getting pretty humid in here. It's we live in Michigan. It's about I don't know, about 38 degrees outside today. The garage is getting up to about 72 with this burner going, so 70 or 72. So it's getting a little humid in here. So we're letting some air in here. Not sure how this hop screen is going to work. I seem to still see a lot of hop particles in wort. I'm hoping it works pretty good. Seems every time I boil I got a lot left in the bottom, a lot of hops, and it clogs up my screen. I got a bazooka screen on this hop kettle, or on this boil kettle. It's my first time doing videos, like I said, so bear with me. I'm sure this one probably won't be that great, but see how it goes. Alright, we'll get back to you in about 15 minutes for another edition of Simcoe hops. For the last 15 minutes we got our other half ounce of Simcoe. We add that now. We got our oxygen. I just put the oxygen stone and sanitizer. Make sure that's clean and ready to go. I'll be putting the wort chiller in about 5 minutes left in the boil. Then we'll be chilling the wort. I'll come back about that time. We'll talk about that. I want to get down to about 70 degrees. I'm using White Labs California yeast 001. It's a great yeast for IPAs. I also like white yeast. It's just White Labs has always been good with this recipe. So we'll see you back in about 10 minutes. Hop strain out. It looks like it worked really well. You can see all the hops left in the bag. First time I use this. Just made it today, like I said earlier. So that should save a lot of the bazooka filter getting clogged up. I should be able to get more of my wort out without being a mess. So now we're going to add the wort chiller and Irish moss. We can get this sanitized. It has been cleaned and sanitized, but I always put it in the boil kettle for 5 minutes. Make sure.
You can also join our VIP mobile text club. They'll get to be your tenant weather text.
Just make sure you never let these touch the boil kettle, because I've done it and melted one before.
Saving offers as well. Just text variety to 8900.
And then we have Overflock tablets with Irish moss from Cap and Cork. It's my home brew store I use around here. Helps clarify your beer. Most of you probably know that by now. And I'm going to let this boil for another 5 minutes. And then we'll cool it down to about 70 degrees. And add our yeast. That's about it. So we'll see you back here. We'll do a hydrometer test and we'll add our yeast. We'll see you back in a few minutes. We got our wort down to 70 degrees. Getting ready to bring it into a fermenter. Hopefully it won't have as much hop debris as we usually do. and the bottom of the boil kettle. We'll be able to get all our work. We're hoping for 6 gallons, or I mean 5 gallons here. Then we'll check our ABV, our original gravity, and see where we're at, see what our estimated ABV will be. And we'll add our yeast. One 1.045. 1.045 it looks like. About 1.045, so we're going to estimate we should be around 4.5 to 5% ABV by the time we're done. So it'll be a good session beer. Good to have a few after work. I guess we'll come back in a few minutes when we're ready to add the yeast. Getting ready to add the yeast. We got the California yeast 001. And got this down to about 70 degrees. Probably about 68 right now. I will be dry hopping this, and I'll try to, on the YouTube video, if I can figure it out, I'll try to add what I'm going to use in the recipe too. And I'll definitely be doing a tasting beer review at the end. Alright, thanks, we're all set.